Hello and welcome to Bookmore Park for round 4 of the Daytona DMAX Championships. We've just completed our first qualifying session of the day. It's for the Enduro, and what an interesting session it was. Changeable conditions. We had rain this morning down here in the southeast of England, and a drying track out there made it very, very tricky for some of our drivers, and I think we've got a bit of a mixed up grid. I'm just going to grab this man here, Alan Curtis, pole position.
That's not a joke?
No, that's not a joke.
Well,
there you go.
Thank you very much. I was just about to try and find out. I'm very pleased with that. I was having a good run round with Tor. I think the two of us, we had a bit of a mishap up at turn 1, but apart from that, I think it was really good. I found a bit of grip, felt quite comfortable actually, and then actually enjoyed that. I thought I was going to be somewhere like mid-pack, but maybe when you're relaxing back, you know, maybe you drive a little bit better.
So changeable conditions out there. Was it feeling like the track was getting quicker along the way, or was it about the same throughout?
I think I found some good patches of dryness, but turn 1 is a nightmare. You know, it's going to be a nightmare at the beginning, to be honest. I think there'll be a lot off going out far wide because there's very little grip. Yeah.
Well, congratulations, great. Well done. We'll see you on the front row for the start of the race. Let's grab Tor, one of our championship contenders. That looked tricky out there. What was it like?
Yeah, it is tricky. Bottom half's dry, top half's more than wet. Yeah, top 2 hairpins, and turn 1 I actually had a crash. Ran too wide in the wall. Sorry, ran too wide and hit the wall, ended up in the wall, and then another car that was following me sort of hit me in the wall again. But apart from that, I was feeling strong. I think I was top 3, and then had that incident, missed a couple of laps, got back on pace, got my last lap blocked. Unfortunately, that's the way it goes, and I was down to 5th. But yeah, looking promising for the race. The sun's out, so I'm feeling strong in the dry and testing yesterday, so looking good. Fingers crossed.
Well, it's a long race. Hopefully we'll see you back up at the front by the end of it. Let's have a chat with Mike Coppin.
Hello.
Mike, changeable conditions, how was that?
I'm really disappointed actually. Yeah, I'm normally, Buckmore's a track that I'm normally confident at, and changeable condition I'm normally pretty good in. So I just turn 1's a lot greasy. I thought it would be. Should have walked the track before the start, and ended up putting it into the barrier first lap. My own fault, my mistake, nothing else. And yeah, I'm going to have to make some time up in the race, I think. So there's plenty of time on track, so we'll see how we get on. But yeah, gutted, because this should be a strong round for me. So yeah, we'll see.
Well, hopefully it'll be exciting for us as we see Mike coming through the field. Hello, sorry, we've not met before.
So, nice to meet you. My name's Tony.
Tony?
Yeah,
how was that for you out there?
Excellent. It was absolutely excellent for me. P4, which is the best qualifying position I've had all season. I love the track. The track is superb. It's so fast. It's got great chicanes. It's got uphill. It's got technical parts to it. So yeah, it's an excellent track. Love being here. Probably behind PFI, I would have thought this is probably my second most favourite track in the country. Yeah, so very happy with my result. Very happy. Well done. 4th place in the grid.
Nice. Good to see Bookmore Park. First time Daytona has been here in 7 years. Daytona proving very popular. I want to find Bobby Trundley, because our championship leader left it to the bitter end, but let's see if Bobby's available for a chat with us. Bobby, my goodness me, that was late. You were down in about, I think, 12th position, and then pulled out a cracking lap at the end to get 3rd.
Track evolution was pretty much all that happened. I mean, trying to push as hard as I can, just had a ton of traffic in front, so I was quite surprised. I just scraped through. I think I was the last cut before the check-in by about 1 second, so I needed that lap or else I would have been right at the back. But anyway, cut feels good, hopefully. I love this track, just love this track, and hopefully see if I can fight my way back through the field. But got some people, new faces on the front rows, and see how it goes. Yeah.
Well, thanks for your time, Bobby. Definite good chance for Bobby today. No Chris Hackworth here today at Bookmore Park, so our championship leader looking to extend his championship lead in the Enduros class. That's qualifying. The driver's getting ready now for the race. Let's head to Alex up in the commentary box.
It's time for round 4 of the 2017 Daytona DMAX Inter Enduro Championship. I'm Alex Goldschmidt, and joining me this weekend is Andrew Mather. Andrew, good morning.
Morning, Alex. Thanks for having me. Absolutely brilliant to be here. I'm really looking forward to this first race of the morning. A fascinating qualifying session we've just had.
With a very, very shocked and surprised Alan Curtis, by all accounts, as well. Literally pipping everybody in the last moment as the drivers are now starting to make their formation lap. Ahead of getting race underway. So let's run you through the grid. It's Alan Curtis with a stunning pole position. Alongside him, Andrew Tempest on the front row. Current championship leader, Bobby Trunley, might be able to extend his gap because it looks like Chris Hackworth is a no-show this weekend. Anthony Kirk joins him on row 2, ahead of Philip Senior and Martin Bork. Rob Moore and Zander Mahoney. Mahoney, who's currently 9th in the championship, is in 8th place, ahead of Seb Cook and Curtis Mitchell. Tim Ellis and Tor Ryan are 11th and 12th respectively. Luke Cousins, who's currently 5th in the championship, is down in 13th place. Alongside him is Nuno Costa. Jamie Nesbitt, Daniel Russell are 15th and 16th, ahead of Race Khan and Alok Iyengar, who looks to be one new addition for this weekend. James Perry and Darren Martin are 19th and 20th, ahead of Mark Kieran and a very difficult qualifying, I think, from Mike Copping. Ian DeVere, Stuart Shearman are 23rd and 24th, ahead of Antonio Caccioli, Tom Eastwood, Lee Carey, James Browning, John Donnelly and Nigel Foote. Very interesting conditions we've had here today, Andrew. A lot of rainfall this morning, as I think the drivers will be getting into the tram lines, getting us started ready. But we've got a very different circuit here, a lot of undulation, very technical corners here, Andrew, and it's going to make all the difference for everybody involved.
Absolutely. It's also the factor of we've not been here for 7 years. There's a lot of drivers who maybe don't know this configuration of Buckmore Park all that well. I think that was a factor as well. I'm looking at someone like Rob Moore in 7th on the grid. He knows this track very well, and I think that's benefited him well for getting up towards the front of the grid. So
the drivers are getting lined up in 2x2 formation ahead of a 1-hour encounter, and there'll be no shortage of action this time around as we're waiting for them. And the green flag is off. The drivers are starting to make a getaway, and a brilliant start from pole setter Alan Curtis, and it looks like they're going 3-4 wide even into turn 1, turns 2, and there's someone doing a brilliant overtake around the outside. Bobby Trunley's in the middle.
Black helmet, just stayed in
and Bobby Trunley, I think, has just jumped to 2nd place. He has on turn 3. And there's barging, there's 3, there's at least 4 wide there, Andrew, as they're coming through turn 4.
Absolutely brilliant for Alan Curtis. He's got a fantastic hole shot out of there. Bobby Trunley, I think, has moved up as well into 2nd place. Rob Moore's had a good start. We said he had experience of this place. He's up to 4th.
And drivers will have to be very, very careful going into turns 9 and 10 because there are cones just on the outside edge of track limits. Anyone hitting one will get a 5-second penalty from race control. There's a couple of cars getting really, really close there, Andrew.
Absolutely. You're very right to mention track limits. It's one of the new features here at Buckmore Park. These concrete and tarmac runoffs, meaning that track limits are really tempting in some way for some drivers. They want to use that extra tarmac. They're not allowed to, though. And I think Rob Moore's also received a curb warning along that vein of using a little bit too much of the track. They've got to be careful. This is a long race.
We have got an emerging battle for the lead very early on. It's Alan Curtis from Bobby Trunley with Andrew Tempest in hot pursuit as they're going down towards the 2nd half of the track, going into turns 9, 10 and 11. And then they've got the uphill shot going through turns 12 and 13 before crossing the start-finish straight. There's more battles down. There's a 5-cart train, and I'm just wondering who's leading that. I think that might be Rob Moore leading a 5-way scrap for 4th place already.
Yeah, he's actually lost out to the number 17 there on that last lap. That's Philip Senior coming through now into 4th place. And there's a battle for the lead, Alex. Bobby Trunley having a look at Alan Curtis into hairpin 1. Can he do anything about it into hairpin 2? He dives up the inside, has the inside run. Is he going to get it into the S's? No, Alan Curtis able to hold it round the outside.
They filter through for another time of asking. Bobby Trunley's taken the lead from Alan Curtis.
This is going to be his time. I would not be surprised if Trunley starts to pull away here.
And he already has. It looks like it's at least a 4-car lead between him and Alan Curtis. Yes, Mike Copping having made an electric start from 22nd on the grid.
And he's made a move up the inside there, Alex, into Garders. That's 8th place now for Copping. A brilliant move. There is a full course yellow, I think.
And that's just off turn 9, I believe, as well there.
think I was right about these curbs, wasn't I?
Yeah, so it looks like curbs might be causing some early casualties here earlier on, Andrew.
Absolutely, they're very, very big curbs here at Bookmore Park. The drivers have got to take into consideration that hitting those curbs running wide can easily damage the karts, and can't quite make out which driver it is. Actually, I think it might be Alok Iyengar. He's fallen to the bottom of the order.
And it's green off again, and Bobby Trunley puts the hammer down, keeps Alan Curtis napping there, I think.
Look at this battle, Alex, coming through turn 1 and turn 2 now. I think it's about 8 or 9 karts involved. Mike Coppin going for another move. Mike Coppin up the inside, and that's going to be 7th place now, displacing Curtis Mitchell in the red suit and the white helmet. But look at behind him, there's about 8 karts all squabbling over the same piece of road. This is brilliant.
So the two leaders are literally line astern as Bobby Trundley's trying to fend off Alan Curtis as much as he can, trying to put that kart as wide as possible, and the three-way scrap has intensified over 3rd place.
Yep, going into hairpin 1. In fact, I think there has been a change. Yes, Andrew Tempest is back into 3rd place.
Yes, he's back into 3rd place. A nice move there by Andrew Tempest. But Mike Coppin from 22nd is now challenging for 4th place, and Andrew Tempest, I think, has dropped down to 4th. He has. It looks like he has.
And Coppin looking up the inside into hairpin 2.
Coppin has got him, pushes him, gives him enough route, but that was a bit too close. Oh, Coppin literally clobbers the barrier going into turn 5 there, trying to force the move. I think that was onto Andrew Tempest. And it didn't quite work out.
Change for the lead. And Alan Curtis into the lead.
And Alan Curtis was threatening for a few laps, and he's made the move stick on Bobby Trundley. And Trundley is trying to fight back tooth and nail.
This is Luke Cousins leading this one in 9th. They're coming into hairpin 1 now, but behind is that Tor Ryan coming through.
Tor Ryan, and that was the number 42, I think that was. That was Curtis Mitchell. Curtis Mitchell now down the order again, and that's
and he's lost another place to Seb Cook now. The number 5 kart heading towards hairpin 1 now. Sorry, turn 1, through turn 1, now turn 2. Now they're heading towards hairpin 1. And he's looking for the move, and he's gone for the move. Can he hold it?
And Tempest has gone right back. Rob Moore's really in the mix there. Copping throws it up the inside into turn 4, makes the move 6. Rob Moore tries to go with him. They go side by side. Mike Copping nearly had the barrier last time out when that happened. Side by side, down turn 6, into turn 7. Fantastic side by side action here, Andrew.
Well, that was absolutely textbook from Coppin. That's how you pass through the hairpins complex here at Bookmore Park. He had to work hard for it to get through, but he got the move done on hairpin 2 and is now up to 4th position.
Tor Ryan has made up another place. A sterling effort from him. That was into turn 3, and he's just gone past the number 2, I believe.
That's Luke Cousins.
Luke Cousins from 22nd to 3rd. Brilliant job. Brilliant job by the number 5. He has literally been storming, scything his way through the field all race long. He didn't have a great qualifying, but qualifying does not necessarily determine where you're going to end up when you finish the hour enduro.
New fastest lap, Philip Senior, 45.147, and this is the driver sitting behind Mike Coppin at the moment. You're absolutely right, Alex. Mike Coppin is pulling Philip Senior and Rob Moore closer and closer to Bobby Trundley, who's just set the fastest lap of the race, 45.135, going up the inside of one of the back markers into hairpin 1 now. The lead now 4.3 seconds, and I think it's going to get bigger because, yes, the battle has now been engaged. Mike Coppin is only a couple of kart lengths behind Bobby Trundley. Bobby Trundley is now going to be having to be thinking about defending that 2nd place instead of going for the lead.
And Bobby, there is no chance you're going to have enough time for a 1,000-yard steer on Mike Coppin. I trust you right now. Mike Coppin's taken Trundley. Mike Coppin's taken Trundley. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's a 3-way battle for 2nd place. And there we go. Philip Senior is right on the back bumper of Bobby Trundley. Rob Moore, I think, will be in this very shortly. A little love tap from Senior on Trundley. They're going into turn 3.
Moore's gone up the inside. Moore up the inside for 4th. Sorry, yes, that is 4th place on Philip Senior.
Oh, and he pushed Senior a little bit too wide there, I think, but gave enough room so at least Senior could rejoin the track. So Philip Senior has lost out there to Rob Moore. Time round, Andrew, because Copping, I think, made inroads.
5.7 seconds now between Curtis and Coppin, so we've just passed the halfway point. Half an hour down, half an hour to go. Curtis is your leader, from Coppin, Trundley, Moore Senior,
and Trundley, I think, has lost out. He's lost two places there. Rob Moore, Philip Senior have both overtaken Bobby Trundley, the current championship leader, who does have a 20-point lead coming into this round, but Chris Hackworth is not here. That's a big telling point. But of course, Tor Ryan may be able to make some inroads into the top two, maybe. Approaching the S's, the number 27 of Tim Ellis is now joining them as they go past the grandstand, down the hill, through the sweeping turns. It's not just the leaders who can put on a good show. These guys in the middle of the field, leaving nothing out there and wanting every position they can get. 6.7 seconds now the lead gap between Curtis and Coppin, and Curtis really showing how to get it done through the traffic. Down the hill now, through Symes Sweep, towards Paddock Corner at the bottom of the circuit. Still Coppin there, but look, Moore is closing. Can he throw it up the inside of the back marker? Yes, he can, into the hairpin, the right-hand hairpin, and then the slight left back up the hill. And the biggest thing is that Rob Moore is putting a real bit of amount of distance between himself and Philip Senior, and also you would find that Bobby Trundley isn't that far behind the number 17 at the moment. Senior is still getting held up by backmarker traffic with the number 44 ahead of him. Yeah, he nearly outbraked himself there and nearly went into the back of the 44. That's Ian DeVere. Rob Moore is in striking distance of Mike Copping. I'm sure that Mike Copping can probably feel that bullseye on the back of his race suit. The one that he actually sported last time out at PF International. Half a second between Coppin and Moore last time around, and that looks a lot less than half a second now to me, Alex. But Rob Moore closing in, started 7th on the grid, is now closing in on Mike Coppin in 2nd place. And the man who actually started 22nd, as we keep on reminding everybody at the moment. A fantastic job by Coppin, but Rob Moore will have something to say about that very, very shortly. Mike Copping again using the Days of Thunder movement, trying to get past another back marker. Ooh, and nearly hits him. And he gets right past him going into turn 1, flies it up the inside with Rob Moore following in close pursuit. Luke Cousins trying to look around the outside through hairpin 2. That's not going to work, Luke. No, and the number 14's in close proximity. That's Nuno Costa. Yep. Nuno Costa in that 3-way scrap for that particular position. Down the hill now through the right-hander of Paddock by pit exit. But these three have been pretty much together for the whole race. It's down to .271 now between Mike Coppin and Rob Moore. Rob Moore, if he wants it, could go for a late lunge into one of the hairpins to get past Mike Coppin. He decides not to that time around, through the S's now, the left and then the right. There's a little bit of traffic ahead of these two, so potential opportunity for Rob Moore to take 2nd coming up. So let's see what happens between Mike Copping and Rob Moore. The pair go into turns 9, 10. They're literally line astern. They'll be getting up the hill past turns 12 and 13 very shortly as Alan Curtis again crosses the line. And it's nose to tail between the pair of them as they cross the start-finish line. Rob Moore trying to do the slingshot, goes round, thinks to go round the outside, but of course the back marker was in the way, and he's pushing Mike Copping along. Mike Copping's really got to have an answer for Rob Moore. Rob Moore nearly goes side by side going into turn 3. Turn 4, Moore doesn't have an answer for Copping yet. They go through turns 5 and 6 and they're bumper to bumper, wheel to wheel. Brilliant scrap over 2nd. Down the hill now, down towards Paddock Corner. Looks like it's still going to be Coppin in front. Yes, he is there in the blue helmet. Goes defensive into Garda. I'm not sure that's a wise move, Mike, because that could give Rob a run. No, he's defended it very, very well. But here they're going to be side by side over the hill. Here they come again. It's still bumper to bumper. The pair are battling hard, tooth and nail. Rob Moore nearly could have thrown it up the inside into turns 1 and 2. Is he going to do it in turn 3? Not quite. Traffic ahead of them. There's a chance. It's side by side coming out. Rob Moore thinks better of it. Goes behind Copping as they pass the back marker, which is number 32. And that was wise. There was 3 carts into that corner. Might have been a little bit tasty.
I think Rob Moore is just picking his moments here. There's still 12 minutes of this race to go. Plenty of time for these two to battle over this second position. This could go right down to the last lap at this rate, Alex.
It could very well do. Charlie seems to have an answer for the number 25, but how long could it be before he gets overtaken through the pressure that the number 25 is actually pushing on him at the moment? There's been a change. There has been a change. Bobby Trundley has now gone down into 6th place. So it looks like Anthony Kirk made a move round the other side of the track. He's trying the same tactic going into turn 3, puts it up the inside of Copping. The pair barge, they're side by side going into turn 4. It doesn't make it stick yet. Will Rob Moore have an answer next time around? It's wait and see, ladies and gentlemen.
But Coppin's just doing a fantastic job keeping his car low on the circuit, keeping it on the inside. You'd expect lesser drivers to run wide, and that would give Moore the opportunity to get back through, but Coppin's simply not doing that at the moment. This is a brilliant scrap.
I think Rob Moore is trying to do the old Nigel Mansell trick of a good old dummy. But it's not quite working out as the pair come across the start-finish line, with Alan Curtis quite literally streaking away across the start-finish line. Rob Moore still trying to push the track limits. And Rob Moore still hasn't got the answer for Mike Copping. Rob Moore really needs to get a move on, because he's got just over half a lap to try and capture second place.
Leader now at the bottom end of the circuit. What a race this has been for Alan Curtis. Was very surprised with pole position. Alex, I'm going to hand over to you for the end of the race.
So here we go. It's moments away. Alan Curtis takes the win for round 4 of the 2017 Daytona DMAX Championship. Who's going to be second? Is it going to be Copping? Is it going to be Moore? We're going to find out. And it's Copping. Copping by a whisker takes second. Brilliant job to defend for the last half of the race ahead of Rob Moore, who takes third.
There's a thumbs up and a handshake as well. That's absolutely brilliant to see between Copping and Moore. What a fantastic start to the racing here at Brookmoor Park in DMAX, Alex. I thoroughly enjoyed that one.
Well done, Mike Copping and Rob Moore. That is one of the most entertaining battles we have had all season. Gents, I applaud you. You really entertained us. So it's now full course yellow as the carts for the Inter Enduros go back in. So let's give you a rundown of our finishers today. A dominant display from Alan Curtis, who put it on a surprising pole position to take round 4 of the 2017 Daytona DMAX Championship here at Brookmoor Park. Mike Copping, a sterling performance from the number 5, qualifying 22nd, scythed his way through to second on the field and did a fantastic job holding back at bay the number 41 of Rob Moore, who completes the podium for today. Philip Senior and Anthony Kirk managed to pit Bobby Trundley for 4th and 5th respectively, with Bobby Trundley, I would imagine, still having a championship lead, despite the fact that Chris Hackworth is not here this weekend, apparently. Andrew Tempest was 7th ahead of Zander Mahoney in 8th. Tor Ryan made a notable fight back from 12th to 9th ahead of Curtis Mitchell, who qualified where he started, down in P10. Nuno Costa made up 3 places throughout the 1 hour encounter in 11th ahead of Seb Cook. Tom Eastwood, Luke Cousins, Daniel Russell completed the top 15 ahead of Jamie Nesbitt. Tim Ellis was 17th ahead of Mark Kieran, who made a nice little move, a few moves up the grid from 21st to finish 18th on DMAX debut, ahead of Darren Martin and Martin Book, who were 20th and 19th respectively. Race Khan was 21st ahead of Stuart Shearman, Ian DeVere, Antonio Caccioli, James Browning, Lee Carey, John Donnelly, Nigel Foote, Alok Iyengar and James Perry has been classified as the last of the finishers, but actually exited about 60 laps ago. So that is it for round 4 of the 2017 Daytona DMAX Inter Enduro Championship here at Brookmoor Park.
Well, here we are with our 3rd place man, a slimmed down Rob Moore these days. Yes. Rob, what a race, 7th to 3rd. Happy with that one?
Yeah, I mean, it's a one-off for me, complete one-off. I love this place. Knew Mike was doing it, knew Alan was doing it, knew we'd all be quick at the front, and just wanted to keep my head down and go. Basically, loved the track. Conditions are perfect. A little bit greasy this morning, but it was fine. It dried through. Except for turn 1, a little bit towards the end. There was patches, but it was flat out. Other than that, love it. Absolutely love it. Might do another one, but I'm not sure yet. Depends what the missus says.
Well, hopefully we'll see you back. That was an absolutely brilliant drive. Well done, Rob. Third place. Let's move to our second place man, Mike. We had a chat after qualifying. You were a bit disappointed with that, but what a drive! 22nd to second.
Yeah,
you can't ask for much more than that.
No, I'll take that. There was a point where I have to apologise to my brother because I think I shouted a rather loud expletive on the headset, going, "I'm going to catch beep Alan," and there was a point where he was telling me that I was catching him maybe about half a second a lap, and then I think Rob started to find some pace with about 20 minutes to go, and I don't know if I switched off or if Rob just got quicker, but either way, last 15 minutes it was a case of damage limitation and keep second. But if someone had said to me at the end of the start of the day I'd have taken a podium, if someone had said to me after quali you'd have had second, I'd have bitten their arm off. So I can't complain, and to be honest, if anyone's going to win, I couldn't have wished for a better bloke to win than Alan. He's captain for our team as well, and as I said, to have him on the podium is a great result. So yeah.
And let's move on to our winner, Alan. I mean, the look of surprise on your face when we spoke earlier when you took pole. Is it still surprise, or what were your thoughts after that win?
Well, I was surprised because I was running round with Tor at the beginning, and we were just having, going round together. Tor then had a little bit of an off. I got caught up in that, and I thought, well, there's only 2 minutes left to qualifying, and there was a queue, so I thought I had no chance. I just got my head down, really, pedal to the metal, and did it on the last lap. So I think that's where I just found that extra bit of grip and determination, there. So yeah.
You had a good battle there with Bobby Trundley for a while in the early stages of the race. How was that?
Yeah, that was interesting. I wanted to find out where I was on the pace, really. Bobby's a fast driver, and I thought it was actually better to let him ahead. But then as the race started to go on, I found that I had that extra bit of pace, especially coming down the hill through the S-bends, and at that point then you probably saw that I dived in at paddock because I wanted to push on. I was conscious of the group behind us and wanted to get a bit of a lead on, so yeah.
Well, absolutely fantastic victory. Well done, Alan. Hope we see you back on the podium on that top step in future rounds.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's it for round 4 here at Bookmore Park of the Daytona DMAX for the Inters Enduros. If you want to get involved, if you want to take part in round 5 or later races in the season, go to the website or call this number.